Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Aeperion pads. There are 3 of them. They were sent out to me for review, but I'll not change my thoughts or opinions on the video. And let's get into it. So first off, I'm going to talk about what's similar across all 3 pads. Then I will get into all of them individually. So first off, you have the box. It's a really premium packaging. You open it up, the pad will be rolled in a sleeve, and then under that will be a accessory package with palm dot skates, clear grips, and then you'll get this cool metal key. There will also be a keyboard mat in the box, which is just super useful. I did need to flatten my pads a bit, but after I flattened them for a little bit, they were fine. In terms of all the available options, you have the Chrysolite, which is balanced speed, the Quartz, which is balance, and the Cordurite, which is control. Hopefully I pronounce everything right. All 3 pads I have are 490x 420, but they do come in 500x 500. They are all 3 millimeters thick, and the stitching is pretty solid on all 3 pads. No issues with them. On some of the pads, it's a different color than the actual surface, but it's great stitching. So the basis is kinetic vacuum PU. So when you first put it on your desk, the base is very loose. It's not that sticky, but it's great for adjusting it, because once you kind of start putting pressure on the pad or like do this like kind of hard, it gets really sticky, and it's a really solid base because of that, because it's initially easy to adjust, but once you have that adjustment, once you're playing a bit, it does not move at all. It's pretty solid, really good bases. I wouldn't say they're like a 10 out of 10 base, but they're definitely up there with the solid base. Also, in terms of dust pickup, on all 3 of the pads, I had no issues with dust pickup interfering with my gaming. They also didn't really stain easily, so in terms of dust and staining, these pads are pretty solid. But let's get into the surfaces themselves. So on my desk right now, we have the Quartz. So the Quartz is balance speed. I would say it's a relatively fast pad. This is a very firm pad, and I would compare it to the Matte Rova Zephyro. So the Matte Rova Zephyro is similar to this, but I would say it's harder and faster. This is kind of a balanced, slightly less hard version of that. Like, it has a lot of initial speed, but there's definitely some stopping power, you can see. But it's still pretty fast. I mean, it's going to have some skate variants. These are the palm skates. As you see with the palm skates, it definitely is more balanced with stopping power, but you do get some good initial speed. And I have some pink foxes. It's pretty fast depending on what skate you're using. I would say this is still a balanced pad, but far towards speed. I think it's similar maybe in speed to something like the Heen, maybe a bit faster, but again, there's still going to be some stopping power. In terms of tracking in game, I had no issues. This pad is not great necessarily for like micro adjustments. Like, I had some issues while trying to get snipes when I just had to move just a little bit, but for heavy tracking games like Apex, which I was playing this on, it was really solid. I would definitely recommend this for a heavy tracking game, but for a game where you're mostly going to have to make micro adjustments, like maybe a tack shooter or something, I wouldn't recommend this for. But let's get into the next surface. All right, guys, so this is the Cordurite. This is the control one, and I'm going to be honest, this is the one I had the least testing on, just because I don't really use control pads much. I play more heavy tracking games, or just games you want a faster pad like Apex and COD. So I didn't do much gaming on this, but I definitely put in a couple hours on it, and I would say it's pretty smooth. It has a bit of a weird textured feeling, like not texture but fabric feeling. If you had like the Solstice Arrival, you'll know what I'm saying. Some people are just not going to like the feel of this pad on their skin. I really am not a fan. It's also a pretty firm pad, and it's I would say with speed skates, you're definitely going to get a lot of initial speed, but then you're going to have a lot of stopping power. So it could be balanced towards control. You can consider it, but with some skates, it's going to be very controlled. Like the palm skates, it's practically a mud pad. Like, there's a little initial speed, and then it's just stopped. Again, more palm skates. A little, like, it's pretty much a mud pad with the palm skates, and then more speed skates. Like, again, you're definitely getting a decent amount of initial speed, but then it's going to stop. Overall, in terms of just using this in game, I was playing with it fine. It's a decent pad, but I can't really give you a full opinion on it because I'm just not a control pad person. So if you want to know more about this specific surface, I would recommend finding another review on it. But what I would say is it's still a solid quality pad, But if you don't like weird textures like touching your skin, like fabric textures, you're not going to like this pad. And it's pretty much a controlled pad with a little bit of initial speed. That's pretty much it. Let's get into the final surface. All right, guys, so this is the CrazyLight. This is the balanced speed pad. I would say it's definitely the fastest of the three, though. I would say it's pretty close to the Quartz where you can't tell much of a difference. So this pad also has a bit of a fabric feel where it does feel a little weird on your skin, but it's easier to get used to and it's not as bad as the Cordurite. So if this is something that bothers you, it might not bother you too much on this pad. But in terms of it being balanced speed, like I'm using speed skates right now. These are a little bit of balanced skates, but they're pretty fast with dots. You have the palm skates. They're still pretty fast. You just get a little bit of stopping power and some more speed skates, which this is really fast, I would say. So overall, this is pretty much just a speed pad. It has a unique fabric. I wouldn't say this is uncontrollable. I'd say this is a pretty good speed pad. My aim felt pretty solid. It didn't feel uncontrollable. It was pretty fast. I don't really have any pads in my collection I could compare this to because it's a bit of a unique surface, but it definitely feels solid if you like a speed pad that's not uncontrollable speed, but it's still pretty fast. It's also another firm pad, and the skate variance is also just going to depend on what type of skate you're using, if you want something very fast or if you want something more balanced. If you want like a really solid balance pad, I could definitely recommend using the palm skates on this pad. But overall, this is pretty much just another balance pad with a different feeling. I would say go for the Quartz if you want something more safe, and just the Quartz is just, I would say, a more safe pad. You're going to be used to it more towards other pads. But if you want to try something more interesting, I would say you can go with this one. Overall, what is the price on these? So these are all $44.99, not including shipping. Assuming the shipping is $15 or less, I would say these are all an easy cop. They're all really good quality. They're all premium. They come with some great accessories. Obviously, I'm not going to recommend you buy them just because of the accessories, but the value of the accessories are like 20 bucks. So you're practically getting a $25 pad with a bunch of accessories. I think the value overall of this pad, even without these accessories, is pretty good. I don't think these are artisan killers. I still prefer my Heian over the Quartz. I still prefer my Raiden over this pad, and I still prefer my Zero over the control pad, but I would say the Quartz is still like my second favorite pad I've ever used. These are solid pads. I could definitely recommend them, and I had no issues using them. So overall, that's pretty much it. I'll leave a link down below when these are available. I can recommend all of them. They're solid pads. They're not the best on the market, but I would say they're very close to being the best. I would love to see Aeperion make some maybe textured pads, some soft pads. I'd love to see more different types of pads, but these were very solid for their first pads, and obviously I could recommend them. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching.